Hello, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Manuel. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're looking at the best Python editors for this year 2022, and we don't know what's going to hit the market next year, so that's why I'm mentioning 2022 to be specific. And then I'll be starting off with the things to consider in an IDE before you choose it, and then I'm going to move on to the IDEs I have for you today from top to bottom. Finally, I'll be recommending IDEs to you based on certain conditions like the hardware you use, the end goal, and your level of expertise. Okay, before we step into the video, make sure you smash the like button, click the subscribe button, and pop the notification bell. You do not want to miss my next epic videos and my very thorough tutorials. Now let's get straight into today's video. Okay guys, before we get in, what do you need an IDE or a code editor as a Python developer? That's what I'm going to be diving into right now before I move on to the top 5 editors, so this way you know why this is in the list at all. Okay, now let's get into that. So firstly, we're going to talk about the speed, then we're going to move on to the built-in features, which includes syntax highlighting, keyboard shortcuts, appearance, the ability to add extensiveness, the autocomplete feature, debugging feature, and many more built-in features. But those are the basic features I've mentioned. And then move on to the size. Is it lightweight or is it an heavyweight editor, code editor, or an IDE? Does it take time to load? Does it take time to start up? Or is it just something you click and it starts up immediately? Then we'll move on to cross-platform compatibility. Does it work on Linux? Does it work on Windows and as well as Mac OS? Okay, and then finally the fifth one, we're going to move on to the terminal support. Have it in mind, this is the video you need to be able to pick your editor, because I'm also going to be recommending the text editor or IDE or the code editor you should use as a programmer, and at the very end of this video, not very end, so you have to stick through the video. Now let's get into the text editors from top to bottom. The first on my list is the Python IDE. Yes, the Python IDE is a code editor. It's not an IDE, there's a difference. Okay, this is for Python. That one is integrated development environment. This is integrated development learning environment. So okay, so this is for Python. It was coded in Python actually. Okay, it makes sense though. Coding Python with a Python product makes sense. Then that was not the RAM I was looking for anyway. So now it is also cross-platform, as you can see here yourself. You can work on Windows, Unix, which cuts across any Linux distribution. Okay, then it has its own interpreter. In this case, I would say that's its own terminal support, but now that's not what I really mean by terminal support. And size, it is very light. See, this is it right here guys, very light. I mean, you click on it and it starts immediately. Well, that depends on the speed of your PC anyway. So this is it. It has syntax highlighting and maybe autocomplete based on just the text you typed before. It doesn't have IntelliSense, just debug. It also has debugging, by the way. Okay, you can debug your code right in it. So next one on my list is PyCharm. Yes, you guessed it right. So PyCharm is a very large editor. It has a lot of these features I mentioned earlier on. As you can see, boost code quality. It has IntelliSense. It's light. It's heavy rather. It's an heavy code editor. It's cross-platform compatible, and then it provides terminal support. Okay, this is it. Let me see. Let me try on new project. So you see, that's gonna take time, so I'm just gonna cancel this and open rather. That's not gonna take time, but I just want to be fast with this. Okay, just trust. I want to trust this. Now it's not very fast, so it takes time before things load. And this is an example compared to any other editor I'm going to mention in this video. This is the heaviest of them all. Okay, so it's an IDE. Why the rest I'm mentioning are just actually going to be code editors only. As you can see, this is it. This is the terminal here. It provides terminal support. So for IDE, I should probably run this so you can see an interpreter. So I'm going to press F5 over there. It's open on my other screen right here. Okay, so this is it. When you run it, this is it. Okay, and then this is the result. See, it's actually a thing tab from one of my series here on YouTube. This is the result. All right, I'm going to close that. So this is it for you. It takes long before you start. Sometimes what even frustrates me the most is this indexing. That takes a long time, especially when you're dealing with big projects. It takes a long time. But I'm not using the most powerful system, so I'm just gonna say on average it takes a long time indexing. So this is just a small project. You just Python files and see this man, come on, it's open, others are loaded. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. And now the next thing in this video, the next editor I'm going to mention is VS Code. Yes guys, VS Code, the one we've been waiting for, made by Microsoft. Yes guys, VS Code. Okay, it has IntelliSense. When you're trying to define a function, so when you press DEF, just suggest it to you, when you define a function and then press enter, it brings out the whole syntax for you, and then you just have to fill it out. Fill what you want to fill, your block of code in it, and change the name of the function. All right, so it debugs, you can run your code, of course. That's why it should be on this, it will not be on this level. You cannot run your code, obviously. It has the ability to take extensions, a lot of extensions, which is a big thing about Sublime Text. Okay, so others have it, but I'll still say it's a big thing about Sublime. As you can see, it can take a lot of extensions. Well, this is just 21 anyway compared to maybe 56. Oh my, you must see people use extensions. So this is VS Code. This is terminal support right here. I would say it's not heavy. I might not call it really lightweight, but it's kind of in the middle. Okay, so it's not very light, and then it's not very that heavy, just as PyCharm. It's just kind of in the middle. Okay, you can just test it out with your system, and then you see what works out for you, if it's really heavy. But if you're using a decent system, then you should be able to work with it. I'm gonna minimize that. About the speed, it's fast. It's a fast editor. Okay, lastly, before I miss that, it's also cross-platform compatible. It works on Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. So that is it for VS Code. And the next one on my list, which I believe second to the last, is Sublime Text. The very first thing here people say about it, for those that have used it, is its speed. It's a very fast editor. That's one thing that stands about it. It's also cross-platform compatible. So about the terminal support, you have to install the extension, which I've done a video on that, how to install terminal in VS Code. It's not slow, it's gonna take real quick before you to install it. So it also has those built-in features, and then I mentioned earlier, its speed is very fast, and it's also a lightweight editor. They're also working on it every time to make it the best it can be while still being lightweight. Guys, this is really lightweight. Okay, so if you're wondering this is what it says, this is a playlist on my YouTube channel, one of the tutorials I did. Now the last thing on my list here is, drumroll, Vim. Okay, most of you might not know Vim. Okay, it's a Unix kind of editor, so it's an improved version of VI for Unix. Okay, like something like Linux operating systems or Ubuntu, so that's what we call Unix along those distributions. Now it's that's a steep learning curve. It's very fast. Let me show you this. This is it. Okay, so most of you expect it to be this if you don't know before, but this is what it actually is. They might wondering what do I use this for? How do I even type? It's going to be very difficult. Yes, when you start, that's why I said it has a steep learning curve. It might be difficult, but once you start using it, you're going to love it because of the way it works. Things are going to be, it's going to be, I would say if you master it, you faster, very fast in coding, because the shortcuts, and you'll be able to move around faster than just moving your mouse or your cursor anywhere in any other text editor. Well, you can also install the extension Vim in VS Code as well. That's it for the top 5 editors from top to bottom. Now let's move on to my recommendations for you. The first thing I'm going to say is based on your level of expertise. So if you're a beginner, I advise you to either go with Python IDEs. Okay, that would be my utmost recommendation. So now if you are an intermediate developer, that is, you know the syntax, you can put things together, build your own project, then you can go with the IDEs as well, or you can move on to Sublime Text and Visual Studio Code. Those are my recommendations for you. And if you're an advanced programmer, you can move on to the IDEs. Now the reason why I'm saying I did mention IDEs first, even though you might be wondering, why not use IDEs first if it's going to teach me how to do best practices, if it's going to teach me to complete code for me, help me to debug. No, that's not the best thing. Well, you can watch my video on why IDEs is not the best for you. I'm going to put in the description below and up right here on my screen, in your top right of your screen. Okay, it's going to pop up right now, or I'm also going in the description anyway. The reason why you shouldn't be using IDEs as a beginner or intermediate developer. So I would say when you're past the intermediate level, then you can always use this anytime you want. And then of course Vim, it depends on when you want to use. You can use it in that beginner, intermediate, or expert, but I advise you not to use it as a beginner so you don't get frustrated and break your system. So maybe you are trying to get a syntax and it's difficult, and then Vim is also bringing its own difficulty. Trust me guys, I warned you, do not try it as a very beginner. Okay, so you can try it when you're the master, maybe an intermediate developer. I advise you to use it then instead of trying it as a beginner. Okay, based on your end goal, what do you want to learn? If you want to learn web development, I advise you to just go VS Code. You can also go with for the professional edition for PyCharm. So this one here down here, you can pay for this. Okay, so this supports web development, as you can see. You can pay for that as well as paid version. But if you are going for stuff like just scripting, you're going for just basic Python scripts, you can go with the PyCharm community edition, which is free. You can go with Sublime Text instead, and you can go for Vim. So that's it basically. You can also go for the IDEs if you want. Thirdly, hardware you use. Now, if you are using a Pentium or a Celeron core, I advise you should not try PyCharm at all. It is very heavy, guys. Even on my system, as you can see, I'm still complaining. It takes time to load some basic things. Now, so if you're using hardware like that is not an hardware that is not really fast, you should just go with Sublime Text or the IDEs or Vim. So VS Code, I'll say you should try that out. It depends on your system. Well, actually, the RAM of your system plays into consideration, and well, I'll say that basically. So you just try VS Code. VS Code is kind of in between, and then that is it. Based on those 3 levels, based on your level of expertise, based on your end goal, and based on the hardware you use, those are the editors you should use. And finally, my recommended, you want to learn web development, go just use VS Code. Okay, you want to learn, just want to be scripting, you can use Sublime Text. And then you just want to go into data science, there's one called Jupyter Notebook. Okay, I didn't mention it here, but most data science uses you must have heard of Anaconda. Okay, it's under Anaconda. So that's about it, guys. I hope I'm not missing anything out. Let me know in the description below, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, then you should give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on my next epic content, guys. So now click on the subscribe button right now, click on it so you don't miss out on my next epic video. Thanks for watching. Much love, guys. Peace.